All right, welcome back to this week's episode. Caleb North here with Chad, and we're talking today about presence equals productivity.
Why did you get your last name on there? You just said it's with Chad, like nonchalant. This is your gig. What's going on? I'm telling you guys, Caleb's taken over. But we did find out at the last conference I spoke at that it was 2-0, 2 for Chad, 0 for Caleb.
That's right. Yeah, we were asking agents that were at the conference that knew us, if they were Team Chad or Team Caleb, and both of them said Team Chad. And I'm going, what is going on here? Like,
it wasn't even without hesitation.
How does Chad have these people so brainwashed?
And you didn't get a standing ovation, did you? I don't think you did.
I didn't. No.
Yeah.
I didn't get invited to even be on the stage. So
well, of course not. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of
they're like, why would we're trying to sell tickets for next year. Let's keep this guy off.
Exactly. They're going, we need someone to stay within 20 minutes. That's the main thing. Yeah. There's no way. Your introduction to yourself would be 20 minutes. The reigning champion heavyweight. Well, you're not heavyweight anymore, but okay. Okay. Funny. So will you stop joking around? Let's get serious here. Let's get.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
We were talking. Yeah, try it.
Yeah. Well, presence equals productivity, and I know it's something important to you. It's important to me. It's something that I've been thinking a lot about lately. I think it's really, really easy for people to get distracted. I mean, when you work for yourself. You don't have a manager looking over your shoulder. I would make an argument that self-motivation isn't even the necessary piece, but self-discipline is. Motivation only goes so long.
I find that interesting because a lot of conferences I've been to, it's all about getting you motivated. And it's funny because there's two things that really, I mean, after going to these conferences for decades and speaking at some of them, there's two things that make someone successful. Number one, a tragedy. I mean, really, when you think about it, a tragedy, because a tragedy makes you so aware of being present and things matter. Like we talk about presence equals productivity. Well, when you have something super tragic happen or a horrific situation, you start to realize that presence is everything. Presence is the key to a successful relationship. Presence is the key to someone understanding why what you have is best for them, because you're literally explaining it in a way that they would fully understand and get. I use my example of Ariel on a breathing machine. She's on a ventilator for 7 days, and it's the most helpless situation you could ever be in. And you start to realize, number one, we really, truly do have very little control over a lot of things. And number two, nothing else matters than my relationship with that person. So if you can get that presence when you're in an appointment, it doesn't matter. Like my phone, it's not even there. I watch. I try and not wear watches. Why? I want that person to know that right there, and this is where we talked about last week, the Zoom thing. It's a little more different, a little more difficult because presence is really hard to kind of relate or what's the word I'm looking for? Transpire. It's hard to transfer through a video camera. And so to be fully engaged, I mean, I've said this for years with my kids. If you're having a conversation, just whatever, it's not that big deal. Texting is fine. If it starts to get a little more serious, then you definitely want to make a phone call. If it's really serious, you want to talk face to face. It's because people know the presence, and that translates into productivity for sure.
Yeah. And I think when I talk about presence equals productivity, a big one for me is the underlying assumption here. Like, can we just all be on the same page that the underlying assumption is that whatever it is that you're doing was determined to be the right thing? Because it is absolutely possible to be totally present in the wrong thing and it be the opposite of productive. Right? You can be present in the wrong thing and it is not the direction you want to go. But so we're assuming we're talking about doing the right thing, and presence, like you say, Chad, it is important because without it, there are studies and studies and studies about multitasking. And I know sometimes people swear that they can multitask. And
I can multitask
yes,
right now.
I think people can multitask.
Yeah.
But what people cannot do is devote 100% of conscious effort toward two things at once. Because you only have 100%, and that can only be given to one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You might
Well,
be able to manage a couple things and juggle a few things at a time. Moms do this all the time in their day-to-day, but it's really, really difficult to give. You can't give maximum mental capacity to multiple things. So being present is that concept of total focus.
How to segment my brain, and I literally use each segment gives 100%. So,
you know the problem with my brain?
There's not one there.
There's. You know how they say you have a left brain and a right brain?
That's not true.
No, I know.
That's not true.
They say that. They say you got a left brain and a right brain.
Yeah.
And I say, well, the problem with me is there's nothing right in my left brain and there's nothing left in my right brain.
That's a good one. Do you know that study was actually done in the latter 1800s that there's a left brain and a right brain? And it's actually been proven wrong through neuroplasticity and regeneration. They're realizing that the two lobes actually work together. It's no right brain, left brain. And it's when I heard that study, because now if you follow anything, they will, they'll tell you that's not true. And that went back to the latter 1800s or early 1900s. So yeah. Interesting though.
Yeah.
But it is important, we talk about that. My clients know when I'm in that appointment, I am 100% in that appointment.
Right.
Like I am fully engaged and nothing's going to distract me. Right. Even when having a kidney stone.
Well, yeah, it maximizes the result of the time spent. So it's a catalyzer of efficiency and effectiveness together. If you've got 10 hours in a working day, and let's say the next person has 10 hours in a working day. If you do each thing that you do with 100% mental focus on that thing, and each call that you make, 100% mental focus on that call, every email you send, whatever the task is, you apply 100% of your mind focused on that thing. What you get out of that 10-hour day will be so far and away more result than what the other person does if they're trying to mentally split between multiple things at the same time. So it really does catalyze, and you'll get things done quicker and better as a result. So you could do, I'm talking multitasking, you might be able to make calls and send an email at the same time. Okay.
Well, I literally was just talking to you and I was sending a text right now. So
yeah, but do you remember what I said just a minute ago?
Absolutely. You're talking about how it's in how darn it. I actually knew that because I was paying attention to both and then you just psyched me out. I was literally listening to you while I was texting. And then I was thinking I was going to make a joke about, no, I learned how to tune you out all the time. But, it's okay. Anyway, you got me.
The way that I like
circuit in my brain.
The way that I like to think about it is it makes your time like a dense ball of lead. You can have 10 pounds of cotton or 10 pounds of lead, and they might weigh the same. The time spent might be the same, but what you've got in 10 pounds of lead is far greater than 10 pounds of cotton. You throw it at any window, and you're going to know real quick the difference between the two. And that's what I think about focus and presence. And it transcends work. Like here we are talking about work in the annuity world, and that's all fine and good. But it's the same for you're having a conversation with your spouse, your kids, your friends. It doesn't matter. If you're going to devote the time and you're going to say this thing is worth the time that I'm putting into it, then give it also the mental capacity so that you can actually maximize the result of it. And Chad, you have a saying that's, I guess, similar to this. It's like you don't vacation before a vacation. And it's that idea of
you don't vacation before a vacation. You don't vacation after a vacation.
Right. So you've got that time for the vacation. Which means that if you're going to start vacation tomorrow, then that's when it starts. Today is not vacation day. So if mentally you start treating today like vacation day, but you're also like kind of doing work, right? And I use air quotes on that. You're not really going to have a work day completed, and you're not actually going to be rested like a vacation day.
People ask me that all the time, because they know we travel a fair amount. They're like, "Oh, are you excited about next week's trip?" Or no. What do you mean no? I'm honestly not thinking about it. When I'm on that plane, we're at the airport, I am now thinking about it. But until then, and my wife has had to help me so much because we've gotten a habit. If we take a long trip, we come back the Saturday before. That way I can kind of, get back in my mode, because I used to go back the Sunday before and I would literally be, now I'm working mode. And she goes, "Don't work. We are not back home yet." I mean, even when we'd pull into the cruise port and, maybe Miami or something or wherever, and we're getting ready to fly back, I had a habit of getting into that mode of working. And thank God we've done it, because now I truly am able to kind of have a day to collect thoughts, get back, and then go full on. It's also with the seconds count, pennies count, right? Seconds count. Every minute you're in front of something, be efficient, be fully engaged. I mean, the Olympics are going on right now, and you can say those people, when you watch them do their expertise, whatever they're good at, they are engaged.
Yep.
Like they are full on in that, and they have 100% of their attention to that. And if they don't, they often will not win because of that. If you talk to someone who did a sport or something, they're like, "What happened? You're the best out there." I just couldn't get my mind into it. I don't know what it was. I just couldn't get engaged into it. And it's so important to just stay focused on that.
Yeah. Time is, we've all heard the saying, time is currency, and it's the great equalizer. And if you look at any high achiever, you can see the way that they treat time. They treat time as if it is their most valuable asset, because
almost
they actually believe that it is.
But a lot of these billionaires, it's even to a detriment, though.
Oh, totally.
I mean, they're focused on their time, but they're focused on the time at what it takes to make more money. Mine is, I focus on what time it takes to make more impact. Now, what does that mean? When I'm with my wife and we're on vacation, it's just me and her. That's the impact. That's not money. That's not about money. It's about impact. I want to make sure she knows she's the focal point. And I have one of my kids, man, oh my gosh. I mean, Rachel, right? Yeah. I mean, if you are distracted when she's talking to you, she will call you out on it. And it's just like, "Dad, I need your attention." And sometimes I'm like frustrated with it, because I'm going, I'm here. I'm here. Like, how much more here do you want me to be? And sometimes she's dead on, because I am not focused the way I should be.
Yeah.
So no matter what it is, we do as we always have in our podcast, and anybody who's talked to both of us, we don't just talk about sales and making more money. We are almost always primarily focused on relationships. And that's what this does. Yes, being in front of your client will get you more sales, but more importantly, that client will feel like they're important and that they matter, and what they're going through matters. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I think this is pretty good. I'm going to say we're going to wrap this up, because I don't want you to add anything else. Last week was a phenomenon and you didn't add anything else. So we're going to do this 2 weeks in a row. So I hope this helps you guys. Have a great day and happy selling.